Well, good morning everyone. It is just after 6 a.m. It's Friday. It's the end of the first week of the GCQ, the general quarantine here in Bacolod City. And this video is going to be a little bit different than all my other walking videos. This Jeep driver pass here. Actually going to work this time, I think. Not just private, but he can get some passengers and make a little bit of money. As I said, this is going to be a little bit different than the other videos. I'm rocking a brand new fashionable pink face mask. So that is how I vary up my content. You got to support the rapidly growing face mask industry here in the city. But the other main difference is also that now we're actually out walking for pleasure rather than just going out for groceries once a week. So during the general quarantine, you can do some basic exercises. Running and some non-contact sports are allowed outside, so I figure my brisk early morning walks should be covered under that. Now here in the subdivision, basically everyone is out doing whatever, face mask or no face mask anyway, so if someone's breaking the quarantine rules, I am certainly not the worst offender. So today I thought I'd take you the other way than I walked before, just sort of walk around the whole subdivision. So, as I think I mentioned before, this subdivision is fairly big, and like most other ones, there's only one entry point, and so now we're actually walking away from the entry point. I had this little loop that I used to walk before the quarantine started, because I like to get a little bit of exercise in every day, so 1 or 2 loops around the subdivision, if you got nowhere else to go, will certainly make a big difference. Gets me around 6,000 steps or so for the day, and yeah, I aim to always beat the 10,000 step limit that they say you should hit every single day to get an adequate amount of exercise. And if you want to do some walks in the Philippines, you need to get out early, because now it's still cool, but after say 7:30 or so, it's already too hot to be out walking just for exercise. So we're gonna head on in town here. Down there is the wall. That's the end of the subdivision. Busy day today. So I actually had a little bit of an accident over there. That's why the quick cut. They had washed that Jeep that I was passing, and there was a trail all over the road of soapy water, and so I basically just fell flat on my back, got the wind knocked out of me, and I'm actually got a little bit of a bleed, scratched up my ankle a little bit, but hey, nothing too serious, so I'll just finish out this walk and go home and wash it out. So down here is the Basiwa water tower. It supplies the whole subdivision with water, I think, and it doesn't work too well because just a few days ago, for example, there was a brief power outage, and you know, if you've been in the Philippines, you know that's certainly not uncommon. It was a quick one, only about 30 minutes or so. But once the power comes back here, you don't have any water, and you don't have any water where we live for several hours. So I'm guessing that there are electronic pumps that, you know, take a while for them to get the water over to where we live, because that's basically opposite ends of the subdivision. And last time, even when the water did come back, which was a good few hours after that brief power interruption, the water was full of rust, like a nice brown color, for hours afterwards, literally. Like we did not have clean water until the following day, pretty much. So that's a little bit of an inconvenience that you need to know if you live here, and we make sure now to always have a bucket full of water, just so you know, if that happens, at least you can wash yourself off using the bucket. Well, it's fun times. The water goes out after a power outage. I've experienced that in other places, but it's worse here than anywhere I've been before. That's one of the drawbacks of living right here, but other than that, it's way better than the other place where we lived, which was in Singkang Airport. I just like this subdivision that we're walking around in here much more than what we had there. It's more of a cookie cutter sort of two-story townhomes kind of deal, which, you know, you probably recognize around the Philippines. They have them everywhere, and they look basically identical all over the country. They look real nice. They're not that old, so they look real nice when they're freshly, newly built, I guess. But I think they put them up real quick, and then there's a lot of flaws that maybe doesn't get apparent until a little bit later. So ours was, you know, in need of major repairs, and I don't even think it's that old. Meanwhile, as you can see here, a lot of the houses are different from each other. I suspect that there's like a standard size that they were built originally, but then a lot of them have been modified, and in some cases torn down and new ones been put up, because you have some that are more like this one right here. That's kind of what I'm meaning. It's probably how they look, except they built on a little thing over there. But other than that, that's pretty much how I think they are. And here we have like just an empty lot with like just a hut built onto it. So it's basically, I think, you know, once you've built, or once you've purchased the house and lot, what you do with it after that is basically up to you, I guess. No real building code. You can just make add-ons or tear it down or do whatever you feel like. So in a little bit we're actually gonna head downtown, or head outside of the subdivision at least. I'm having my eye on going down to the east area, Lopez East, the NGC marketplace. Talked about that before. It's one of my favorite areas, and I think now that the ECQ is over and we can go out more, I think I should head down there and just film a little bit. And it'd be interesting to see how, for example, marketplace, the sort of bar and restaurant area is doing. I know some of the restaurants are still open for takeout there, but you know, how much can they possibly make just doing deliveries? And mainly you don't come there just for the food, but there are some good restaurants. It's more for like the ambience of the area as well. So we'll just see how things are going there, if there's some places that have already sort of permanently closed or what's going on. It'll be interesting, and maybe I can do that later today because I'm not doing that much. So look forward to that. And well, I just gotta remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and just give the video a like and leave a comment if you got anything specific you want to ask or anything you want to see. I'm not doing a video every day, but I'm doing at least 2 videos a week or so is what I'm aiming for at the minimum. So stay tuned. We're gonna finish out this walk here. We're gonna head on basically down to the gate and then make a loop. Well, that's what I'm talking about right here, but when I fell down, it was at an incline, and also the road there is actually pretty freshly paved and smooth, so there's no surface area, so it was very slippery. I thought, I just be careful, but as soon as I put my foot down there, I tipped right over. A little out of breath, got the wind knocked out of me. I'll be fine. I've gotten banged up a lot of times in the Philippines. Just, you gotta be careful where you walk, especially if you're like me, a little bit of a taller fellow. Oh, kittens here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, if you're a little bit of a taller fellow, I'm 183 centimeters, which is in the US right about 6 feet tall. And let me tell you that most things are not constructed for my height here, and especially if you're walking in sort of areas that are, what can I say, more sort of street, then there'll be a lot of sorry stores. They'll have like a tin metal roofing, and it'll stick out right at the perfect height to hit you in the forehead. And yeah, there's all kinds of things that, you know, you need to be aware of. And when you're wearing a cap like I do pretty much all the time when I go out to protect me from the sunshine, then you can't see above your head. So have to be real careful. I've hit my head multiple times. Oh, so this one does some government delivery, government project. Yeah. So I guess some sort of construction work. Big truck. Yeah, so definitely here, when you are closer to the exit of the subdivision, the houses are generally better maintained and bigger, with a little bit of space apart from them. Meanwhile, down near the other side where we were, near the wall, they are very tightly packed, smaller. And some of them, I mean, it varies. It depends on how handy the people living there are. But many of them are sort of in need of repairs. It depends on the people living there, and also, I guess, on the landlord. Because, yeah, very few people there would own their place, I think. So sometimes the landlord cares enough to make some repairs, and sometimes he doesn't. So we had pretty good experience with our landlords so far. You hear a lot of horror stories when they want to cheat you out of your deposit and everything, but hasn't happened to me so far. So we're just coming up to the gate here. You've seen this part. If you watch any of my old videos anyway, you've seen this part before. This is where you go if you want to go out to get groceries or do any other errands. I'm just going to cross over here. That's it over there. Side Jeep. Yeah, the Jeeps are back. They are limited in the amount of passengers, so I don't know if all of them have. I don't think that one did, but the one we rode, we went downtown a few days ago, and the one we rode has plastic dividers between each seat. It looks like a lot of effort, and I'm really not sure how effective that would be from stopping virus spread. I mean, those Jeeps, even if you half the amount of passengers, which they have, it's still way too close to say that's effective social distancing, but at least I guess it would slow the spread somewhat. Yeah, we went downtown a few days ago. We went to Ayala Mall just to be able to enjoy purchasing stuff in sort of the nicest mall in town. So my observation from that little trip is it does seem like even though it's open, most of the shops are open and everything, there's not a lot of people there, just fewer customers than regular. And so what we think is happening is after a month and a half of the ECQ, where a lot of people have not been able to work, and if you don't work here, you don't get paid. So I think just there's a lot of people that normally would be able to shop that just are broke right now. So we'll do some filming down there sometime in the future too. But yeah, that's gonna be how it is right now for the time being. Like there's no time limit now to the GCQ that we are under now. So you just gotta assume that this will last. If things take a turn for the worse, we may get bumped down again to a total quarantine, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But it's all subject to review from the IATF, the Manila Intra-Agency Task Force, and they will make the calls. But since they didn't put a time limit, I'm real happy about that. That means that they can inform the mayor's office here, and then they can discuss it all through and reach a point of like when it's good, how to implement it, what time frame to use, and so on and so forth. Because yeah, you saw my news videos. There are some problems when you announce a shift in the quarantine status just 3 days before the time runs out, and then the local government units are scrambling to sort of react, either to raise some concerns or complaints or file an appeal, or even just to implement it in a couple of days. It's impossible to do it well. So I think they've now learned from their mistake. Hopefully when they do decide to change the status here in Bacolod, they will run a little smoother, because it's not good for the people when you hear different news every single day about what's going to happen in a couple of days, which was the case there this last week. So anyway, that's basically the little loop, because that's the clubhouse right there, which is close to where we live, so I'm gonna turn it off over there, but and head on home to wash out my little scratch that I got from tipping over. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel and let me know if there's anything specific you want to see. Hopefully we'll head down to the NGC and to East, I think later today or possibly tomorrow, we'll see. But I'm definitely going to film there pretty soon, so hopefully there'll be some more exciting content and we can show you more parts of the city now that we are actually allowed to move around a little bit more. So look forward to that. Thank you. Bye bye.